Hi, Tinas. Hope you are well.
Thank you.
Okay, so may you please share your screen?
All right. Please just confirm visibility.
Yes, I can see it.
Okay.
Oh, you managed to load all the tables.
Correct.
That's great. Is there anyone who faced some challenges to load the data? Anyone who faced challenges to load the data? It's okay. So
Was fine, okay.
Thanks. So where should we start now? Okay, so let us what can you do? Let us identify primary keys in those tables so that we try to order those tables to put primary keys and see what will happen. Let us put primary keys. If we put primary keys, it will assist us to get foreign keys in the fact table. So let's start with the one that you are already opening on accounts. So in this case, which one is the primary key?
Customer ID.
Customer ID. Accounts is linked to which table? Account is linked to which table? Okay, can you open category? Category. Let's start with the obvious ones. So this one, the category ID is the primary key, right? Let us set category ID as the primary key. Because usually if there is already data in the table, it might refuse. Let's see what will happen. Can you make category ID as primary key?
So I remember this now.
Okay, design.
Yeah.
First of all, can you see that it allows nows? So untick there, because a primary key should not allow nows. Then untick there as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Then make category ID primary key. Click there. Set primary key. Then can you save? Hopefully it will save.
It's refusing to save.
Okay. I'm trying to think about the shortest way of doing it. The shortest way of doing it. It's okay. Can you close it? Can you cancel that? How come it's refusing? Okay, can you first of all, okay, untick allow those ones, the allow nows, and the other one, then can you save it and try to save like that?
Still refusing.
Okay, just wait. It's okay.
Sorry,
It's
sir.
okay.
Mine is actually accepted the primary key. I think
Oh,
he needs to close the other tabs there before going to design phase.
Thanks, Simba.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks. So let us try to do that. Okay. So can you try again?
Nope.
So what happened? Okay, so maybe close that as well. Close it.
Let me just move this.
Or you can just use the X. Okay, it's fine. It's fine.
Oh, I just close this.
Yeah, like that. Then no. Okay, like that. Let's start afresh.
Okay.
Then can you save like that? Huh?
Nope.
Confusing.
Hmm.
Hmm. Can you do? It's okay. It's okay. We want to another table, right? Want to create another table with those same columns. But in this case, we should now allow nows and we set primary key. After setting a primary key, then we insert data into that table. Then after that, drop this one. Hope it's clear.
Okay.
Okay, let's try that, sir.
Can I face at the same challenge?
Yes, I'm getting the same challenge.
Okay. So Tinachi, cancel that. Okay. So let's do another cancel. Okay. So right click that table, that category table.
Hmm.
Yes, right click, then script table as you want to get a script which will allow us to get another table.
And
Script table.
script table. Okay.
Then yes. Then we want to create. So create two. So go to new query editor window. Okay. So in this case, we are creating another table, right? In this case, it's dim category underscore 2. We need to change the name.
Okay. You
So
said
underscore 2. Underscore 2.
underscore 2. Okay.
And yes, like that. Then not now. On now, put not now, not now.
Okay.
So we want to, let me look for a query to create a primary key. So that we put it there. There are two methods. We can create the table like this, then we do the same as what we have been doing. If there is nothing in the table, it's possible. But I just want to show you another way where we add constraints. Let me just look for it. Jackson, you have Engineer Mbizo's number, right?
Yes, I do.
May you share the meeting link with him?
Okay.
Okay, just wait.
Say, I have a question.
Yes.
The code there for creating a table, there's a statement which says on and then it says primary in square brackets. What is that line of code for?
Okay, it's okay. Just wait. I need to check something. Right. I shared the query that you add. So constraint PK primary key. So our primary key. Okay, can you copy it first of all?
Okay.
Hi, Tim.
So,
Hi,
hello.
Engineer Mbizo. How are you?
Good, good. How are you doing?
Good, thanks. Good to see you.
Sure, sure. Okay,
That's
okay.
great. Yeah, so I'm just finishing something with the class. In 30 minutes, we'll be done. So we looked at all the concepts of business intelligence and data warehousing. Then and also the ETL. So here we are just demonstrating the data mass, the star schemas. In this case, we use the SQL Server import export as another tool that can be used. It's a simplified version of SQL Server integration services because it creates packages as well. So these ones, I told them that we use the import export wizard if we don't have any transformations. Let's say it's the data that we need to add to load into the data warehouse without doing any transformations, or we have ad hoc queries that need to be done and we have files that we need to easily load into the data warehouse. We can use that tool. So we will demonstrate the star schema and also the physical model. Then once we are done, you will take over now for the SQL Server integration services. So I think in 30 to 45 minutes, we should be done.
All right, no problem. Can I have a backup of the DB that you are using? Because I also wanted to take them through another concept. I don't know if you've covered it when you were doing your data warehouse. The issue of slowly changing dimensions.
Yes, we covered that, but I think even if you repeat it, it will be good because I know, this field is very big and it will be difficult to cover everything. So if it comes from another person, you might use a different angle, which might make the colleagues understand better. So I think it will be good just to cover the concepts as well. So what we can do in this case, we are just finishing building the tables and also creating the constraints. Then after that, we can just do a backup. We demonstrated the class how to quickly do a backup, then we share with you. It's a small DB, which is less than 1 MB, so it should not take.
Okay, no problem.
Thanks.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Sinashe, enter, click enter. We want to go to a new line. Then paste there. So That's our constraint, a primary key, PK, primary key. Then in brackets, we have, let us put category ID in brackets instead of course ID. Let us put category ID. So that's the query to add a primary key. So, but you have to make sure that. So Gladys, we're asking on primary. I would need to look at some of these. We just overlook that. Maybe the engineer, you know this.
Okay, what
We
is
are
it?
getting it here. We are getting the query from an already existing. You see the query on create table, so there is on primary. What is that in primary?
Oh, this one, when you say it's on primary. Okay, this one, if you're
So he wants-
editing if you're editing
on
an
primary.
existing table, you can remove it. It will be sort of, I think, it will be using some default indexing or something like that. But if you are editing it, you then need to remove this on primary and just concentrate on the above.
Okay, thanks. So remove go, then on primary, remove that. And also everything on top. Okay, so can you now run it? It's done, right? So we now.
So I have a question.
Yes.
On creating the primary key there, what if we just go to the row where we declared the category ID as a column, and then in front of the not now we just write primary key there? Will it also work the same as with this one?
Yes, it's the same. I just wanted to demonstrate using the key.
Okay.
It will save you time from end, especially if the table is still empty. If the table is empty. Okay.
All right.
Okay. So this should not take us time. By 6 we should be done with this, so that we give our engineer Mbizo his time. So in this case, we now want to select everything from gym category, then we insert into this one. So want to insert. So want to write a query to insert. Insert into is a table. Okay, insert into. Okay, you can correct me anyway. I can't remember the. Okay, insert into the table name. We'll see when you are running it. Then space into table. Insert into, it's okay. The gym category 2. By inserting into category, right? Is then a new line. Select all from gym category.
Oh, that will not run. That will not run.
Okay.
Remove the is there. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. So hopefully it will run. So in this case, do you still remember the insert that we did last time? We do that when we are inserting the raw values. But in this case, we have the data which is in the table. So we have a table and we want to select data from another table and insert into another table. That's what we do. So we are getting into dim category 2, the contents of dim category. So can you select that and run? Okay, it is run, right? You select, okay, but it is run. Okay, so for this one, for SQL Server, because insert contents into a database, need to create databases like MySQL, Postgres, Oracle, you need, but this one for SQL Server, auto commit is set to on. So once you insert, then you don't need to commit because it will commit automatically. But for other databases, if you insert and you don't commit, it will roll back. Then when it rolls back, when it rolls back, you can't see the contents again. So for other databases, you need to commit. So let us do the same on the second table. Let us go to dim tran type.
That's type. Okay.
Yeah.
We do the same. Want to do the same process?
Yes. Okay. So our primary key here is type ID. Should be type ID. So not now. It should not allow nows. Then add the constraints.
Which one? Type ID.
Yes, type ID. Then rename your table. It will be dim and type 2.
Why is this pink?
It's type ID.
Ifale.
Was the first one pink type ID? It's okay. We'll see the reason why it's.
That's why I'm worried.
Why,
I didn't see that on the
okay, it's okay. Run it like that.
Okay. There's already an object named PK.
Okay. PK, it's a special name that we have put for the first primary key, right? So this one we can just say PK2, PK2. Can run it. Right. Okay. So now insert. So these are some of the tricks that you can do. We are creating our physical model. So these are some of the tricks that you can easily do to come up with your physical model. Okay. Then let us go to another one. Customers, dim customers. That one. How is the weather in Cape Town, Engineer Mbizo?
It's very hot, man. I think today it was around 40 something degrees.
40 something. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's very, very hot. That's very hot.
I think around 45, I think. Very hot, man.
Yeah, it's hot. Yeah, super hot.
Yeah, it was
So
super
yeah,
hot.
yeah. So on
So,
customers here, our primary. Did you say something?
okay, I was saying the weather, the climate this side is different from the other parts of South Africa. Like you'd see that in other areas like Johannesburg and other areas, it's just like Zimbabwe, the pattern. But this side
Okay,
now
okay,
it's
okay.
a different thing because summer stretch I think up to May. From September to May it will be hot.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's a different pattern. The other
Totally
pattern is
different. And
yeah, there
the
are two
sun set
different ones.
at around 8 o'clock to past 8 there. So
Yeah, it's very awkward. It's very awkward. It's like in Europe. I have a colleague of mine who is in Belgium. Some months ago.
yeah,
Uh yeah. The sun set at around 9 p.m.
yeah, you see now.
Mm, yeah. You know Martinez,
Interesting.
right? You know Martinez.
Martinez is now in Belgium.
Yeah, he's in Belgium.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
He's,
Tawanda.
he's in Tawanda.
Okay.
He's in
That's
Belgium.
great.
Yeah. So in this case, in customers, on cast ID, not now. Then first name, not now. Surname, not now. National ID, not now. Date of birth, but the other ones don't matter. Don't matter. The other ones don't matter. Leave them like that. So our primary key here is cast ID. In small letters, though SQL Server is not case sensitive. So even if you put capital letters, it will be recognized as the cast ID with small letters. But for other uh, databases like Postgres and also Oracle, they are case sensitive. Cast ID in small letters is different from cast ID in capital letters, but in SQL Server it's just the same. Okay, so can you run this? That's good. So what else?
What about accounts?
Yeah, accounts. We need to do accounts. That's the last one. Our transaction, the fake transaction doesn't match. So confirm that's the last one, right?
Yes, correct. That's the last
Okay. Okay. On this one, I can't remember. Let me just have a look. I can't remember which one is should we take as the primary key. Let me just wait. Let me look at the files. Let me look at the files. Just 2 minutes.
Okay, while this engineer is searching or whatever is searching, so is there anyone here, team, who is in the BI space? Doing either ETL or data visualization? Is there anyone? Hapana?
Munenge musina se.
Ya, sakapaka
Hakuna mabasa.
Asi mama ndipakaipa seri kuti kana matatu ane misota atonaka.
Tinoda kutopinda mufield macho.
Yeah. Ndanda vanapera simba uyu. Ndafunga kuti mune ma-industry practitioners chete. But zvinoita bo hamunetsi kupinda zvavo muindustry.
Tidzidzisei watatoya ikoko. Tidzidzisei watatoya ikoko.
Munouya zvinetsi toda kutopfuura wezi. Tikutoenda mberi.
Okay, so let us make account as the primary key. Let us make account as the primary key. Okay. What is it saying?
Cannot define primary key constraint on nullable column in table.
Where's your mistake? Where's your mistake? But not now.
Not now.
Okay.
Not now, not.
Okay.
Okay. So can you now insert? What is the error?
Violation of primary key constraint PK4 cannot insert duplicate key in object.
Okay. So it means that our primary key is repeated here. Can you open your accounts file in text editor? Then you find the account number, which is a duplicate. Then we delete the other one. I did that deliberately so that I could demonstrate to you that primary keys should be unique. Okay, so let us look for account which is duplicate there. Maybe what we can do, or you can open it in Excel, then we sort.
Okay.
Can you select everything? Have you selected everything?
Including what?
Select even.
It's the one that
everything.
ends with 1,
Then
2,
on-
2.
Thanks, Gladys. So, okay. Thanks.
That's the one.
Gladys, ari ku Mira. It's good to hear from.
There's another one that ends with 130.
Right, ladies. Where are you guys? So delete
I'm in
that.
Chinoy.
Delete. Oh, you're in Chinoy. Okay, that's great. How is it there?
It's all right.
I delete one customer.
That's great. Yes. Oh, sorry. We are not deleting from the file. We are deleting from the data, right? So let us write a query to delete. Let us write a query to delete. Because somehow the queries that we are doing are the basics, and also everything that involves SQL. We have done insert, we have done create, delete. So that's what we should know. So we are delete from, write the query, delete from can't remember if it's delete or see from. If you syntax just this me, then the table name, this one is dim account, right? Delete from dim accounts, where account num, it's account number, right? What is the name of the column? It's account. Where account? Thanks. Where account? Equals, where account equals, or maybe it's my network.
Yeah.
Okay, then single quotes, then you put the account name, which is duplicate. The account number. Which we Excel it says it there.
The account name. Yes.
Kwa kuna basa nekupesa ero.
Kuspesa pana equals.
Hapana basi.
To present it properly, I think it's good to leave spaces. So can you delete that? Okay.
We actually deleted.
So let us try to run our query again.
Confirm we deleted both numbers.
Oh, three. Yeah, deleted. It's fine. Yes, we deleted. It's okay. So let us run it again.
Okay.
So we have inserted it. Okay. So can you refresh? Let us delete all the odd
ungodzosa sezvazvo.
That's that. So iribo. Yes, Jaro. So I think to just make our environment clean, let us delete all the odd tables, except for fixed transaction. Okay, let us now rename those tables and do this as my tweet.
But say deleting two instances yet duplication, does it not distort information in the end in a real life database?
Okay, in real life databases, you will notice that this data will be coming from transactional systems. So it will be already normalized. And there are no cases where we have two records that are primary keys. It's not possible.
Oh, okay, I
So
understand.
yeah, here is the data that we created for simulation. And also I put that deliberately just to explain the importance of referential integrity and also primary key constraints. But under normal circumstances, if the data is coming from transactional systems, you won't come across that problem. If there's that problem, then you can introduce another primary key. Maybe you can put what they call a surrogate key. I think Dr. Mbizo, Engineer Mbizo will pass through that, the surrogate keys. We can make use of the surrogate keys. It's still allowed. Okay, so we are good to go, right? And hopefully our tables have got contents. I think it's good to just check. Let us check. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, that's great. That's great. So, okay. So we now want to show our model.
Uyu usadzima kwakwirayo shamwe.
Yeah.
Reari yakari nemainset into nemakwira emuexam. Iro riise panodziya.
Okay. Say, please continue.
Okay, so let us go to database diagrams. Can you right click on database diagram? We want to create a database diagram so that we demonstrate on
Right click on this one.
database diagram just below that.
Okay.
Sorry, right click. Okay. Right click, new database diagram. Do you wish to create them? Yes. Want to create a database diagram? Okay, so these are the tables, right? That we need to join to create a database diagram. So when you are okay, first of all, can you click add? Click add again. Click add again. Add again. And the last one. customers. So can you drag fact type, then you put it at the middle? Somewhere there. Yeah. So, and also dim accounts. Can you drag it down, 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 down again?
Okay.
On the other side, put it on the other side. The other side. Yeah, there.
Okay.
Then dim tran type, can you drag it down? Okay, okay. So can you click on type ID? Click on that arrow. Yeah, that one. And yeah, click. Then once the clicking, drag into fact transaction on tran type ID.
Okay, I drag it there.
Yeah, like that, like that.
Then I let go.
Yeah, then yeah. On tran type ID, then click OK. So wait. So here we are creating a foreign key in fact transaction. The primary key type ID in dim tran type is a fact a foreign key in transaction table. So if you want, you can do this in the form of a query. You're just adding constraints on the fact table. Adding a constraint, creating a constraint where you are saying that tran type ID is a foreign key in fact transaction, and it is referencing the dim tran type. You can do that. So this is another way of doing it. So if you do that in the form of a query, when you drag all your tables into this canvas, you'll notice that they will join each other automatically because the constraints are already there. The references are already there. So here we are creating the reference so that the tables can join each other. So can you see that the name of the relationship is FK, tran type, dim, tran type, and also the columns that are connecting each other. So in dim tran type, there is type ID. Then in fact transaction, the foreign key table, there is trans type ID. Then click OK. Okay. Okay, so we have joined. And also in dim accounts, can you click account, then that one, then drop it on from account. Then okay. Okay. Then also Chimichi. Okay, cast ID, my customers. My customers are linked to my accounts. So can you drag from dim accounts? That one, that cast ID. I mean, in cast ID. Yeah. Then can you, yeah, can you link it to customer ID in dim accounts? Okay, so this one doesn't have a partner. Delete it. Delete it. Dim category. Dim category. Go to dim category. Yeah, right click. Remove from diagram. Yeah. Okay. So this is our diagram. This is our physical model. Of course, Matogaram, we have inserted, but we could have done this before inserting. If the tables are there and we have created these relationships when the tables are still empty, that's what we call a physical model. So we had our physical logical model yesterday on paper, and we now have our physical model. Then after that, we have loaded the data into our data model. Then this is a snowflake schema. We have our fact table, then our dimensions, but we have further normalization of accounts to get customers table. So it means this one is a snowflake schema. So if it is like this, it's already in our data warehouse, and this is what we call a data mart. Hope it's clear. So you can save your diagram, then you call it bank data mart.
Okay.
So our data mart is already is now in our data warehouse. Then if you want to automate the job so that the jobs can run getting files, then we can do that later on. So you can just say bank data mart or bank snowflake schema. Say yes. What is it saying?
Some objects were not saved. Successful. Unable to create relationship with dim accounts.
I don't know what's wrong. It's okay. It's okay. To save our time, click OK. Click OK. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. So that we save our time. So let us now. Can you close it? Okay, you can do that during your spare time. Then you can easily do. But I just wanted to demonstrate to you how we can get the physical model and also to have a diagram of the star schema. So let us now do a backup of our database so that we can share with engineer Mbizo for him to do a takeover.
My colleagues. Okay.
Also, so to get a backup, right click on the database. Right click there. How do we backup? By the way, go to tasks.
Go to tasks. Then backup. Then it must create a backup file in that default folder. So you can say OK or
okay. So okay. So I think you need to copy the link first of all.
Yes.
So that we can easily locate it.
Copy that link before.
Copy that link
before Paganzi MSDA app.
Okay.
Can't you just add your own?
Yeah, you can. You can also add your own.
Support rare rine mamwe mascripts edu aya.
Ita add on. Yeah, then you copy that path here. Is about text file. That's where it will go.
Oh, okay.
Then you can always experiment to add your own. But sometimes restoring it from other path.
I can say okay now.
Yes.
Yeah, agreed. Especially when you are restoring, because usually automatically SQL Server it will look for the file in this folder. So even if when you are restoring on the other machine, you need to paste the file into this folder. So I think it would be just good to use those default folders.
Yes. So you saved the DWH, also save the source.
Yeah, please.
So yeah, there's a file that I've sent Rashika Eregu class.
Yeah, Rashik, vanogona kutarisa.
All right, so I've sent a file, an SQL file that we are going to be using today. So I'm basically going to carry on from where Engineer Majukuta is left and just show you some other concepts around that thing to just try and close the gap of what you've been taught so far. So I will not emphasize much on what has been said already. I will focus on other gray areas that might have been taught to you theoretically as well, and also add on top of the practical that is already done. So you can send me the backup file.
Okay.
Okay. I heard that you did slowly changing dimensions. Um, how many categories of slowly changing dimensions do we have?
I think there's 6.
Okay. What is it? What is a slowly changing dimension? And can you give me an example and narrate one of the category of slowly changing dimensions?
I think slowly changing dimensions are.
Okay, it's okay, Keaton, go ahead.
I think these are the dimensions that change slowly over time. For instance, a title from Mr. to Doctor after an individual has gained a PhD.
Okay.
Or a marital status.
All right. Thank you. So why is it important to in BIE and why is it important to implement slowly changing dimensions?
To maximize data integrity.
It's what?
I said in order to maximize our data integrity.
How?
We want our records to be truthful.
Okay. What else?
They also reduce redundancy.
How does it reduce redundancy?
By only keeping the updated information about the record.
Okay, yeah, but I think there's redundancy because I think that one is only type 1 that you are referring to, but there's also type 2, type 3 that introduce redundancy and keep history of everything that has been happening in that dimension.
That's correct, sir.
Okay, no problem. Can I have that database? Okay, Tim, let me also show you another way. Can you share your screen again? Can that person that was sharing a screen share? All right. So backing your database as a BKP file is another way. I want you to bake the sauce this time around. Where is the sauce? Sauce DB. Not the dim. Okay. Show me the source DB. Can you go to the source DB?
Sei munotaura kuti enda apo neapo apo.
Tanga ramakapiwa musati haisiro akanzi Python here. Haisiro?
No. This one.
Engineer. So in this case, we were getting from files, from source files.
Oh,
so yes, we're reading from files. I thought I thought the class would mention that.
Hey, that was the source.
So maybe I was doing it alone.
All right, can I have a recap of the source of that source? Now in the anti makaimporta ku database. Arisiro akanzi MSDA Python here.
No. MSDA Python is something else. It was our work data.
So here we were getting directly from files loading into the data warehouse.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I see.
So I think what we can do is to share the files with you.
Okay. All right. I thought they.
What can we do?
I thought they've imported those files into a database so that I just take them from the database point of view and treat that as my source and move forward.
Not really. I think that you can do, since these ones there are no any transformation that were done, we can just rename the database name and also the table names. Then we assume that they are the source.
These are the source, yeah, sure. Yeah, I think it's fine. It's too okay. Okay. So send me. So what you can do, right click on that database. Then you say script is okay, go on tasks. There's a way of extracting all the scripts, generate scripts. Go on generate scripts. Right? Click there. Then next, okay, script the entire database and all tables. Next, okay, then go on advanced there. I think there's an option to check for data, to say include the data or something. Or a true way, I want to go to include the data. Yeah, Apple. Pagan schema only. Types of data to script. Pagan schema only. Can you put your mouse there? Up at the middle of that. Pagan types of data to script on.
Oh, this one.
Yes. Drop down there. So it says schema and data. Then okay. Okay, then tick the option script file. You can tick as a script file, or you want it to be saved on a clipboard. Right, then next.
zvinosiyanei kuti tachuza kuti as a script board or on a noteboard?
All right. I will show you. Good question. Next. All right, so this one is saved as a query. The one option that you did with the engineer was saved as a BKP file, right? So this one is say finish. So this one is saved as a script, as a SQL script that you can see all the queries that created these tables. Can you go to your documents? I think that's where it was saved. So if you go to your documents, then in your management studio, I think. I'm sure there's a management studio file. Yes, that one. Then scripts. Try in that code snippets and see what's there. But it went in that file.
I think I saw it, engineer.
Take note of.
I saw it, engineer. Go to SQL Management Studio. Oh, it's not the one. I was looking at the MSDB assignment one. It's not the one. It's okay.
Can you just say script in there? I was saying, what about just searching with the script? More SQL, man.
All right, database. You must take note of the path. All right, let's repeat the process. Script tasks, generate scripts. Right, next. So it's now generating everything into script. Entire database script. Save the script. So we're gonna recognize some users what documents script dot what. So I just save a script. All right, choose futi uko kwakanzi choose kwakanzi advanced.
Let me just look right here.
Saka rakanzi warona rakanzi a script a script.
Script.sql.
Saka iroro ndo part yatiri kudai ndoro chandiri kuda chifaiwo ichocho.
Okay. Let me just look right here.
Users.
Yep.
No, kuma documents kwaunga uri kwaya. It's not a folder, it's a file. So you just go down. Kuma documents kwaya.
SQL.
Just type S there.
Did you find it? It's you can also open it for the benefit of class. You can edit it in Tango and Tumira that file.
Okay. Just to me via what? Python and want to make that one.
Yes, but what's up? Wait. Let's see what's up.
Okay.
No, I'm going to jungle drag on coach candas.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Now you can open it now.
Oh, now I can open it. Okay.
Open it on. It's how to edit the script. Edit with notepad. Notepad. So this is how the file will be built up is. So the database and all the scripts that create that database are. Get it, go down. Right? So you see all this that has been used to create the table, and also the inserts that you can use to load the data. Can you go down? You see, these are the inserts now for the values in those tables. You see now. Right? Mazvona ka?
Tazvona.
Midhuro yagire.
Umwe munhu haafera apa. Okay, ndipewo script riyari yaka ndakarimirira. Maritumira.
Raul.
All right. So I am now going to take over and create my screen.
Right.
When share my screen, musazi kama meso akawandisa pa screen pangu pane zvinhu zvakawanda. Okay. So thank you, engineer. I'm going to take over and you'll be assisting me. Right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share my screen and show you how you restore that script now from the scripting side. So I want to teach you one concept, but that one concept is going to come with many concepts in it. Just a moment. I'm sure you will enjoy the lecture. All right. I'm trying to look at my database. Just give me a moment. All right. For the sake of progress, I'm going to use Windows authentication because I forgot my username, but I'm sure one day I will show you how you can recover your lost SA user if you lose him. Okay. Confirm you can now see my screen.
Affirmative. Say.
All right. So we are going to do a very, very simple thing today. But we want to come up with an amazing thing in the process, right? So this is my machine. This is my, let me close this. But let me leave it like that, okay? So what we are going to do, I want to create that database that you send me just now. So I'm going to copy the script and I will come here into this database. Right, let me close this guy, disconnect this. All right, so I'm going to come here and run this script. Right, so I will say run. Right, you see it is run. So by running, I've restored everything into my database. You understand? So now if I search it here, I'm going to see a database called MSDA DWH. Confirm this is your database. Okay. Then I'm going to rename this into just accounts. I believe that was the original name, and also category. Treat as a team.
We're following.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right. Right. For now, I'm going to concentrate only on the dimensional tables. Let me see this customer one, and particularly going to focus on the customer table only today to demonstrate my concept. Then I will then give you an assignment to do the same on accounts, category, and transaction type. Any volunteer will present to us in the next lecture, but it's not mandatory should you decide not to do it, right? But I think there are some bonus marks for those that are going to do it. So the ultimate goal of what we want to do today, I don't know if I've got rights to go to the board. So I want to build something like this in you today. I'm sure, and I've confirmed that you have been taught about slowly changing dimensions. Can you see my board now?
Yes, sir.
Right. So like what you have rightfully said, I want to make sure that you are able to implement slowly changing dimensions into your tables. And specifically, what we are going to implement today is type 2. Can someone tell me what type 2 is? Type 2?
Type 2 should be where you create an additional record over and above what we read already.
Okay. What about type 1?
Overwrite the changes.
Okay. Yeah, so what normally happens is most organizations, they use type 1. They override the changes. Then some do the type 2. So overriding the changes is not difficult because that's what you have been doing. So in the scenario of what we're doing, it means if a record has been changed on the source, you just load it and it will be overwritten, right? So that's type 1. So I want to assist you to implement the type 2 ACD, right? And help you to understand how it works, right? I also, that the script that I've shared with you is everything that you need to implement it. So I then want you to expand it and implement it on other dimensions, right? In terms of the fact table, I will not touch much because there are no slowly changing dimensions. It only applies on dimensional tables. You understand? So after doing that, so in the process, we are going to do SQL, like what engineer has told you. And you are the first class. I think you munofanira kundiuchirira maoko. You are the first class that I'm teaching this kind of stuff, right? So we are going to do we are going to do SQL. We are going to do procedures in the process. I don't know if you've covered them already. Mustard procedures, right? Then we are going to cover my views. I'm sure you did them. So we are going to create what are called conformed tables, right? And I'm also going to explain to you what it means. Can someone explain to me what is a conformed table? Then after that, we are going to do scheduling of our work, right? Where we are going to schedule the job and simulate how data is refreshed in a real world. I'm sure from there you'll be good to go. If you then match what I've taught you today and what engineer have taught you, then you'll be good to start implementing something for your organization. Right? Before I go further, I usually like to motivate people about this field. This field is a very paying field. I think, let me repeat that. You can earn a lot of money if you take this field seriously, right? I'm sure in a country like here in South Africa, a data engineer can go up to 200,000 rands per month. Can go up to that, depending on the level of seniority. Okay, just hold on, I want to pick this call.
Yeah, you are right there, engineer. That's very correct. There are opportunities out there.
How are you?
What about entry level? How much you will be talking about?
You just need to end level around 20-30 rands. But usually, if you have masters on your CV, you can't say I am looking for an entry level job. I think it will be better to train yourself. You do projects on your own. Then when you are now looking for an opportunity, you enter the market as a senior specialist, looking to get as an entry level, considering maybe unless you are a recent graduate. But if you graduated maybe 5 years ago, 4 years ago, it will be very difficult to penetrate the market as an entry level role. So I think if you graduated some years back, you need to do some projects on your own, keeping on practicing. There are courses on Udemy where you can implement these projects, so that if you implement 2 or 3 projects, you'll be good to go. Then when they are now applying for jobs, you are now joining as maybe an intermediate database, the business intelligence analyst or data warehouse developer.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, paita mari apa.
Ukanzwa ka moment of silence. People are calculating.
Calculate imari.
Iripo.
I think I think 15,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, the good thing with the business intelligence and data warehousing, it's also easier to penetrate. It's easier than data science. Data science, you need to know your maths. You really need to know models. Not one scaling, just scaling. You'll be just surfacing on top of an iceberg. You need to get deeper to understand the maths behind the maximum likelihood estimators, and also explaining the difference maybe between the root mean square errors, if they are if they are support vector machines, you need to look at the metrics that they use, and also to adjust some of the metrics to optimize your models. So you thought you really need to know your maths. But this, if you understand, if you have technical skills, you can easily penetrate. That's the good thing with business intelligence and development, and also data engineering. So for data engineering, you also need to know Python. Some of the jobs they can be scheduled in Python. So you really need, you need to know Python.
But the problem is, I think the problem is in the markets that you are talking about, where you will be penetrating as a data engineer, they won't be using these Microsoft server stuff. They'll be using some recent technologies and technologies that support big data. So we won't be copying scripts using a file or a clipboard, but we'll be juggling data from one Linux server to another, implementing big data platforms like Hadoop.
Okay,
So,
let's start with business intelligence and the data warehouse development. Before we go to data engineering, what are the tools that are required for you to be a BI engineer? If BI analyst or BI engineer or BI specialist, data warehouse developer. If you look at job, if you Google, can you look at the okay, can you Google and can you Google and share your screen business intelligence jobs in South Africa? Then you show me the requirements.
okay. Let me do it. Business intelligence
jobs in South Africa.
Jobs in South Africa. Right.
Then can you share your screen?
Something. All right. Let me share.
Whilst we are waiting for engineer Mbizo.
Okay, I think you are now see it, right?
It's coming up. Yes, I can see it.
Okay, so there's this one, business intelligent developer.
Can
Participate in development.
Can you go to the skills?
Okay. Work experience, advantages.
Okay. Go up. Can you see Power BI there?
Oh yes.
Can you see 4 years experience in SQL?
In Power BI.
Yes, in Power BI. Usually, though, it's difficult for someone to know all the reporting tools, but if you know at least one, and also
so we are going to be,
you know your sorry.
Are we going to be doing Power BI?
Yes, we'll do Power BI.
That's awesome.
Okay. Can you look for another one? Can you look for another one?
Yes, I think I can. Maybe this one.
Analyst business, it's okay. It's fine.
Requirements, context, developer types.
Okay, can you also see the SIS, the SSIS, the SSAS, the SSRS for Visual Studio there? And also, can you see analyze current ETL processes and design new systems? That's what we are doing. So you'll be good to go.
Wow. So I'm all set.
You'll be good to go. If you look at the requirements, Power BI, Power Pivot, SSRS, SSIS, SSAS.
Comrades, sorry comrades.
Okay.
Zvandanda kutotaura zvazvo, I think zvine dzimwe nyasha dzakutoburuka panapa. So I was on a call from a certain recruiter from Europe, asking me if I'm interested in a certain opportunity. So it was a long call.
That's good news, engineer.
So I think you would drop me an email right now while you are in the class. Maybe I will just show you the email. But like what I was saying, the field is very promising. To tell you the truth, I can say from last year in September to date, almost every 2 days I receive a call from a recruiter. And none of those recruiters are in Zimbabwe. Even when I was in Zimbabwe, I was receiving calls mainly from South Africa, some calls from Middle East, some calls from Europe. And this field, you have serious shortages. There are so many people that are qualified in the field, but very few people are practicing in the field. I'm sure, engineer, you can agree with me. Engineer Majogut. Is Engineer Majogut still there?
Yeah, he's still in class. Maybe don't have permission. Maybe.
All right. Okay, so I'm saying there are so many people that are qualified for the field, but very few are practicing in the field. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes, that presents a very good opportunity for you guys. I can tell you that there are more than 2,000 or so people that are qualified in data science in Zimbabwe, but less than 100 are practicing in Zimbabwe as a whole. And for those 100, I think I know 90 of them, if there's anyone practicing. Maybe only 10 that I may not know, but I know companies that practice data science, who is practicing, and what sort of stuff they do. So I'm sure we are still very behind, and there's a lot of opportunities in that space.
Okay? I agree with you.
Yes. So, like when you dropped engineer, I was saying from last year, I think in April, maybe in August up to date, almost every 2 or 3 days, I receive a call either from South Africa, Middle East, Europe, for a job opportunity in data science. And that clearly shows that there's a serious shortage. And some of the rates that are being said out there are very scary figures. Recently, I saw a data science job that was paying about 900 USD per day, which is about more than 20,000 USD per month without tax. And that company was willing to cover costs of living on top of that. Just imagine. So there's really a lot of opportunities in this space. That's what I can tell you. Okay. Enough of that. I don't want to emphasize much on that because of our time.
Yeah, very.
Yes. So.
Yeah, very true.
So right now, as I was speaking in the lecture, a recruiter from London called me on my call, and he was asking for a data engineering opportunity, which is basically what we are going to talk about now. So I'm sure everyone is going to pay attention. So what we want to do here, like what I was trying to demonstrate on my board here, we want to implement the slowly changing dimensions. So by slowly changing dimensions, we are saying whatever change that is going to happen on the source, we want to track it on the destination, and we must know when that change has happened and track it, so that when we are reporting, if we want to accommodate that in our reporting, we can even say, okay, you can even report on the historical changes that were happening, or only on the current values that are there. It will be up to you how you report. But at least the concept that I want to show you today is the slowly changing dimensions. By slowly changing dimensions, like what the previous speaker said, we are trying to say if a certain change happened, let's say we are talking of a bank customer or an organization's customer. If a dimension is changed, we want to track it and say, okay, this customer called Leo was living at number 1 Mgaragungu Mpakos. This customer, same customer at this date is now staying at number 1 Waterfalls. You see? So we are not overwriting the history of how that person, the changes that were happening on that person's dimension. We want to keep the history of those changes that were happening. And we should be able to report if we say one people that were in Waterfalls in 2010, we'll be able to pick that person because no overwrite was done on that record. Then in the process, we are going to use SQL, we are going to use stored procedures, we are going to use what are called conformed tables. So what we are saying by conformed table is nothing but usually comes as views or as mirror tables, where we are saying maybe on the source here, on the customer table, things might be named differently, maybe as the way the destination will understand here. So we can introduce what are called conformed table, where we try to harmonize the source and the destination, and to make sure that in terms of naming conventions, formatting of columns, values, if there are any data conversions that need to be done, we do it at this layer. And so that when we are now interacting with the final dimension table, we are not worried about conformity of the different dimensions that are in the database. You understand? So
sorry, engineer.
Yeah,
I'm not sure where you are. The screen that you are presenting on is on my side. It's just on one corner. Maybe you need to enlarge it or what?
True.
Is it
No, you need to pin it. Go to his screen and then pin it.
Thanks, Clayton.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Okay. So yeah. So in today's exercise, we are going to deal with this table called accounts. Is it your table? Accounts? Accounts, right?
Yes, it is.
Let me name this.
Yes.
Customers. We want to deal with customers, right? Customer dimension, right? So I've renamed this database to MSDA. So we want to track all the changes that happened to a customer. For example, if things like mobile number changes, address changes, seat changes, we want to make sure that those changes are tracked, right? If a person's status changed from single to married, we want to know at what period was that person married and at what point was that person single. You understand? So I'm going to create, using the script that I've shared with you, I'm going to create a new table called dim customers. I'm sure you have already created dim customers, but for the purpose of this, we are going to create another dim customers. So I want you to just come and say new script. I'm going to be a bit fast, so I want you to follow it a better speed. Then I'm going to take this query of mine, you know, this first query. Are you seeing it?
Yes.
Yes. So I'm going to take this part from Bagan's row is current up to this line, right? You understand? Right? And I'm going to copy this part and go with it in my database, right? So as I'm teaching you two skills. One of the skill is what we call code reuse. When you're at work, you don't start your code from scratch, right? You start from somewhere. Then I'm going to create a surrogate key. So a surrogate key is basically a business key which tries to it ignores the original key in the database and tracks and it's independent from whatever is happening in the original source, right? So I'm going to create a surrogate key here that will be auto-populating when records are being inserted into the database, right? Then I'm going to say dim customers, right? After saying dim customers, I'm going to change this to cast key, which is my surrogate key, called cast key, which is going to do an increment of 1 as records are being inserted into the database to avoid conflicts when we are loading dimensions into the table. Then I'm going to replace this key that is on my surrogate key, which is on my query that I've copied into this one, right? So I'm going to just highlight it like this. You highlight it, then you press Control F. Then once you press Control F, you just put the new one that you want to replace with. Then you click up against replace all. Then I can say replace all. So 4 keys have been replaced that are using that name. You understand? Then I'm also going to change these dim accounts, all right, and replace it with dim customers. So I'm going to copy dim customers and copy it. Then once I copy it, I'm going to come on where it says endpoint where it's saying dim accounts, and I'll simply say dim. I will highlight that part and say dim custom, right? Then I replace everything. So there are 41 occurrences that have been replaced. Then once I do this, I'm done with my table. All right? I will check for accuracy. Then I'm going to create maybe another table so that we separate these two. So I'm going to create a table, a database, which I believe you already did. I'm going to create a table called BI, called GW BI cut, right? So I'm going to create database, DW BI cut. Then I'm going to create it in my database. Then I'm going to use this now. I'm going to say use. Then 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 right? I'll comment out this one and check, then I run, right? So if I refresh now, we are still together, team, and it
Yes.
don't get it, right? We are going to see that a table which is potential. Why is it I'm not seeing the table?
Isn't it in the system tables?
Okay, can I try to create it again? This is awkward. Okay, so all right, let me try to query it and see if my table has been created. I'm not going to be too much worried about where it is at this point. Maybe it's still refreshing, I don't know. Select all from that table. Then I'm going to select, right? So here's my table, you see it?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, but I'm still worried. Would you know, engineer, where it has gone?
I don't know what's happening here.
Yeah, here it is.
Yes. Okay. I don't know what happened there.
So I've created the table, right? Which is the dim table. But I'm sure before this, we have to create what is called a staging table. Right? What is a staging table, Tim? What is a staging table?
We did staging yesterday.
Gire.
Okay, so a staging table is just a landing table where you take data as it is usually, and without much processing of it, for stabilizing it and make sure that now your data is now in your warehouse. Then from there you take it and you do whatever manipulations into the final dimension, of which in this case, this is our final dimension, where we are going to track the changes that are happening at the source. You understand?
Yes.
So what
Yes,
I'm going to do, I'm going to create a staging table, which I will call stage. Usually the best practices tell you that you have to say stage underscore, then you put the table name. So I'm going to take this table, script it as a new column. Then I'm going to just simply say stage underscore custom. Then I'm going to use my PW database to create that. So I'm going to copy everything as it is and put it into the staging database. Are we together?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Then I run it. So I created, now in my data warehouse, I now have two things, right? I now have my staging table and my dimensional table. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Once we do this, I now want to load this staging table and load this customer table. You understand? And as I'm loading it, I want to make sure that only those records that are not in the DIM are loaded, and only those that have changes are changed. You understand? So let's wait. So what I'm going to do here, we are going to create a stored procedure. Okay. I want you to understand this concept so that when we go to Visual Studio, it's just a repetition of what we are doing here, but using a different tool, right? Using drag and drop, you understand? But at least you know what is happening in the background. Are we together, team?
Yes, yes.
So we want to select everything that is in the source, right? Are we together? Everything that is in the source and insert it into the destination. Our destination at this point is staging, right? So want to say, want to take this name and say, insert into, that's what exactly you're doing with the engineer. Is insert into this table, right? Sometimes it's also good to work with full path sometimes, but it's not a must. So for you to get a full path, maybe you can also say DW, okay, insert into DW, this, then you say dot, then you put the table owner, which is the DBO, okay, DBO dot, then the staging. In this case, I want to put the stage. I don't know why the stage is not yet picked. Then I will just take it manually and put it here, the staging table. That's where we want to put our stuff, right? Let's check it. It's working, right? So if you tick this mark here and pass it, you are just checking for accuracy. I have not run anything, you understand? Then, so if I run this table right now, if I run it right now, it has inserted 20 records. Majon. Are we together?
Yes.
Right? And if I go and check here in this table, I'm going to see 20 records have been inserted, right? No arguments about that. So I'm going to truncate that table. So I will say truncate. Maida truncate. And I will take the table name. You did the truncate? So by truncate, we are simply saying empty the table, but don't delete the table. So if I run truncate, okay, field object does not exist, or you don't have permissions. Why? Okay, let me try to say truncate table. Yeah. What do I do here?
What is it saying?
It's saying I don't have permission on this table.
Okay.
Yeah. So
maybe it means you might need to try to reopen it as an administrator, maybe.
let me see. So I've got a good friend called Stack Overflow that I usually visit when I encounter issues. Stack Overflow. Okay. All right. No database permissions, right? SQL. Stack Overflow, right? So, okay. Maybe it's because I'm logging as a Windows user, maybe.
Plus, you want to delete data.
Yes, I want to
be restricted somehow.
Yes, I want to truncate it. So probably that's the case. Let me try to see my SA user. What name did I put here? Because I think maybe my rights issues. That's what I'm suspecting. So if I say SA,
You can drop it and recreate it.
yes, I can have an later drop and recreate it. But I don't want you to then get confused. You get it?
Yes.
Hi. I don't remember my name. All right, let me drop and recreate it like what you have said, right? So I'm simply doing that for the purpose of emptying it, you understand? But we are going to go back to the same page, right? So done. I've dropped and recreated it. So now my table here, I snatch anything that it has, right? So if I select from that table, now it's now empty, right? It's now empty. You see what happened here? It didn't create the, no, it happened. It didn't create this table. Okay, it has created my own. Yeah, important. Right. So what we want to do now is to create a stored procedure. So that stored procedure is the one that we are going to schedule to run this script, right? We can also schedule this script, but I also want to give you an opportunity to know what stored procedures are. So I have also put an example of a stored procedure here. All right. So this logic that I put here is the one that we are going to copy and create. Right. So what we are going to do here, we're going to say create proc. Then we give it a name. Then we say maybe load stage, right? Usually say okay, SP load stage customers. Understand, right? Is then we put the query here. So we want to add this and say set no count on, right? So if we say set no count on, and it will optimize the stored procedure to be fast, right? You can also research further about it, but it helps your stored procedure to be fast. Right? Then I check for accuracy. You understand? So if I check for accuracy here, you are going to see that my stored procedure is correct. So I'm going to create my stored procedure, right? But I don't want to run it at this point. You understand? Treat as a comrades. Right? I don't want to do it at this point. So I'm going to, okay, let me run it at this point. So I'm going to keep this stored procedure. And I'm sure everyone is keeping his stored procedure somewhere, right?
But we are only keeping the top 100.
Okay, yeah, because there are only 20 records anyway. So it won't make a difference, but that's a good observation. So our stored procedure here is supposed to just keep everything, right? But never mind. Then, so how do we execute it? We can either come to the stored procedure. So stored procedure sits here. Kunoku. So a stored procedure is like our query yata store in this procedure, right? So you can come here and you can see your stored procedures here. Okay, let me make sure that my stored procedure is stored in the right database. So it's already there, right? Okay, no, it's not there already, but it doesn't like the use command, so it wanted to be the first statement. So if I run it, now it's there, right? So if I try and search it here, I must see a stored procedure. Are you seeing this stored procedure?
Yes.
So I can come here and execute it here. You see? So I can say execute stored procedure, right? And it is executed. If I go and check in the staging table, you're going to see that data has been inserted in my table. Are we together? Right. This is staging, right? This is staging. I've just staged the data. No manipulations, no tracking of dimensions have been done there. You understand? So I've created a stored procedure for loading. So when I schedule, I'm going to schedule this to run every day and schedule and schedule and schedule. Then I'll tell you the whole logic. Then tonight you sleep over it and you start it further. Okay?
So you are now showing us how to schedule.
I will show you later. I'm going to show you, but today. Now, when data is now here, we are now taking it from this to the final destination. But we are assuming that probably how columns are named in here and how they are named on the final table, which is the dim table, is different. So we are going to create what is called a conformed table. But in this case, I just want to create a conformed view. So I'm going to create a view, then I call it create view. Then I give it a name, conf. Then I say dim customers. You understand, right? Yes. So what this view is saying, let's say here, this name can name differently. I was going to put some alias names and name it the same way to match Jiriku dimensional table, so that when I'm comparing my fields angle, it's not easy to work with. You understand? But in this case, I'm going to maintain the same name because the names are same all over. So this is my conformed view or a conformed table, whichever you prefer to work with. You understand? Treat as a comrades. Yeah?
View.
It's just a virtual table. It's a table. It's a virtual table. It doesn't store anything, but it populates data at runtime. Okay.
Okay.
You understand? Okay. So yeah, the email that I was waiting for just arrived now.
Let's see.
You want to see it?
Yes, let's see, please.
Okay, I want you to just see. So this is the row, right? It was great speaking to you. I'm reaching you for this row. Understand? So he called, then he sent the row. And you see where the person was calling from. He's calling from London, and he's looking for a data modeler. You see, even his address there is somewhere there, and there's a global role, which I believe it pays a lot for the candidate that will get the role. Then you see, these are the requirements for the role. You see, there's a lot of data modeling, logical modeling, which engineer was telling me. Monitor and guide activity with data engineers to ensure align what. You see, data modeling, data models, what ERDs. You see, all those technologies. And he was emphasizing that. So this is the requirements. They need someone with 3 years data modeling experience, data modeling tools like this, architect, Erwin, sub power design, ERA, studio, IBM data architect experiences, supporting implementing data infrastructure, proven experience of data environment, relational model data, working with dimensionally modeling data. No, Ralph Kimboyai. You can also, if you have experience, no SQL, you see. So this is the spec, right? This is the spec.
I can go with you as your protege.
You're welcome, man. Okay, so now
mazosirira kuzasi kwacho kwaukoko kunenge kwakamira sei kunomotivheta kwacho
asati ataura ikoko, but I will tell you how the discussion will be going. Until this. Okay, so takredachi our conformed view, right? Or our conformed table, whatever you want to create. Then Tada saw and we now want to create another stored procedure for loading data into the dimensional tables, right? So since mune scripts acho andika, muchaneta go through it tonight, right? And try to implement what we are implementing now in the rest of the tables. And by doing that, you are going to grasp the concept. So I'm going to take this. So I want you to sit down with yourself and study these queries in depth, right? Because actually building these queries with the limited time that we have is difficult, but I will try to just try and explain so that you see how it works, right? So this is my query. I want you to copy that query and paste it in your SQL, right? If you are slow in following along, you can also just listen attentively so that you'll be able to do it while you're home, right? So what this query is doing, the first thing we're going to create what is called a temporal table, right? So that temporal table is good.
Sorry, engineer. Sorry, engineer. Before you proceed, I think I lost you due to network challenges when you were showing the colleagues on the data modeler role. It's another interesting field which is now coming up. So in data modeling, you need to know those constraints, the primary key constraints, the foreign key constraints, and also you really need to know this SQL. So there is a popular tool which is used in data modeling called Erwin. So if you have time to look at that, I think it will be good also to look at that. You really need to understand it, Erwin. So you'll be creating the entities, the foreign keys, the primary keys, and also the relationships. You need to know cardinality, and also they have what they call reverse engineering and also forward engineering. So it's something that you also need to know about. Then they also add data governance, the data quality piece, and also metadata management. So it's an interesting field that you can also look at after understanding your referential integrity, your primary keys, your foreign keys, and also the constraints. Thanks. You can carry on. I just wanted to add that.
Yes, thank you, engineer. So what we are going to do here, I will do it slowly, step by step. So what we are going to do here, we are going to create a temporal table, right? So if you've got some keywords that you are not understanding, please write them down. Then you go and research tonight, right? So I believe that as the master's people, you are also equipped with the research and some research, a course in research studies, I think, in your first semester, and you've got a lot of techniques that you can use to research into your problem, right? So the first thing that we are going to do in this query or in this stored procedure is to create a temporal table. So what we are going to do, we are going to take this table here and script it as create, then we take the query here, right? And I'll be explaining what is happening. So we're going to take this part and here creation a table, right? Once you take this part, we're going to put it here. You simply go and replace here, right? So we're going to replace here, right? So after replacing here, I'm going to replace this name Irakanzi dim accounts to be dim customer. You understand? That's how we work in the industry. We replace things and make sure that things are moving. Then I remove this line because it's no longer necessary, right? So I now have my I now have got my temporal table here that I've created, right? The temporal table doesn't exist. Once that session is lapsed, then no data will be kept. So data is going to pass through that temporal table. Then after passing through that temporal table, then it will be passed into the physical table, right? Then I'm going to take the records that I'm going to insert. So from this record, only these, only these rows are from here. Row is insertwa into my dimensional table. So I'm going to insert this mangoma row are from the source. So how am I going to do that? I'm then going to take my rows angu arikupi arikunoku ku staging table yangu ndobva ndakopa aya kusvika panapa kanzi cast id, right? Then ndatora those rows. So the other logic of my changes are kuitika tatoaisa pa table creation panapa kuchinja kwese uchaita makey nemalabels achaitika nemadefault values achanga achiitika imomo tatoaisa chi panapa. You understand? So those ones we are not going to insert logic inenge ichiitika chi in the background, right? Then we are going to put the column names here that we are going to insert. I will put it, and I will leave this row as it is. Again, the row start. I will explain to you. Okay. Then, so what is going to happen? Table create one. Then it is going to insert into a virtual dim customer table, which is this one, right? Which is a mirror of the actual table that we are working with. Then after doing that, when it's inserting, it's actually selecting that from the staging table, right? So the same data select and it's getting today's date, which is get date, right? Then here where it says reporting DB here, I'm going to replace this DB with our DB, right? So this was a DB that I was working with called Concerto Zim for a certain project in Zimbabwe that I am doing. So I will replace it with our PI, right? Hapana tarasika nditi team.
Yes, we are following.
Okay, so I'm going to replace this DB name and put our DW, right? Please practice it as soon as we finish the lecture. Then I'm going to replace it. So that name has been replaced, right? Now I'm going to take data. So I'm going to do a comparison. As I am selecting my data, I'm going to compare with my source and my destination, right? So if in my destination, if in my if kana data rangu risina kumechwa, then I'm going to create a new record, right, in my dimensional table. So I'm going to put insert these rows, then I'm going to put a, when not made, I'm going to create a new record because it means that record does not exist. It's a new customer that is joined, right? So I'm going to create a new record. So I put a small comment here to say new record. Then I put a start row date. Okay, this record is new. It started just now. Then what am I going to put? I'm going to put my records from the source table, right? So I'm going to paste the same thing, right? And put the, so this date, get date, is the one that is going to be written on row date. You understand? Right? Then as I'm doing that, when it's merged now, so if not merged, I'm going to create a new row. If it's merged, meaning if there's a row already, I'm going to compare what's in my source through the conformed table and change it to and expire the previous row and make sure that a new row is created and the previous value is expired, right? So I'm going to put the changes that I'm going to track. So what am I going to track in this instance? I'm going to track the first name. If the first name changes, maybe muna change because until muna gonna change name, maybe muna row change name, made the name and surname, right? So I'm going to track my changes on the name. I'm going to track changes on the surname. Are we together, guys? Right? I'm putting that slowly changing dimension into practice. At least you know, then if the national ID changes, if it changes, I'm going to put it. Maybe it was a mistake and the change has been made. I'm going to put it, right?
Ko tuma arrow to the 12.
Comparison in my comparison operators. What does this arrow mean, Tim? In volunteer.
Less than, greater than.
Less than or equal. Less than and greater than. What does it mean?
We are comparing dim first name and conform first name.
Saka sign hiyo inonzi kuti greater than na less than.
Is it the comparison operand?
Okay. Yeah.
Zvoendesa kuLondon here zvandiri kutaura.
Unoenda baba. Confidence dzenyu dzekuzvitaura chete. Confidence. Right. Do you want to track the marital status as well? Okay, let's track everything, right? So tasvika pachi pa-address handiti tasara ne-city, citizen and marital status. So I'm going to copy this and just duplicate it down here so that every record is tracked, right? So I'm going to take this city, nobody wanted, maybe city yemunhu change. I'm also I want to track it as well, right? So what I'm doing here is a concept. I'm showing you the concept, then you shape it further. Izoka comrades. And from there, unonga unyadzozvinzisa chero zvikazoya iri theory because maybe unogona kuzonyora iri theory but unonga uchiziva what you are writing. And kungoclaima kuti slowly change dimension type 0 type 1 wototadza kurara uchiclaim but usingazokwanisi kudi implement this, right? So I finished kuti kana zvikamecha any of this, if it matches, then I'm going to create a new record and label it, right? So what is going to happen? I'm now going to have to update my end date month of the previous record with the current date and label it to say this is no longer the active one by putting a N standing for no to say this record is no longer active dimension. And I then put a description that this row is expired, so that if I want to see those that have changed, I can see those that have that label expired. Are we together, team?
Sorry, if match, you are saying if they match, that's when we are going to say row is current, trace up and no.
All right, what's your name? I'm not seeing your name.
It's Clayton.
Clayton wanga wachigara kuHarare handiti? Then wakugara kuBulawayo. So kana uchinogara kuBulawayo asi uri an existing customer, we are going to expire your
address yekuHarare.
YekuHarare toti ya expire nhasi now from nhasi wakuBulawayo. So that when we report you as in Bulawayo. But if we want to report you yesterday, we report you here in Harare. So if you want to know how many people bought were our customers last week here in Harare, but today you are not in Bulawayo. But tomorrow you are no longer in Harare because you have moved to Bulawayo. But if you use type 0, it means we can only know that we are in Bulawayo, but we don't know that we were in Masvingo and Harare.
Type 1.
Type 1, we don't know kuti wakambobvepi tongoziva kuti uri muHarare saka wakabva hatidi.
Hatikuziva.
You get the sense? That's what we are simply doing.
Ndoda apo penhingirino pemakombarizona.
Saka tiri kuti when it's merged handiti, row yako record yako ikanomecha, it means we need to expire a dimension expire change. Understand?
Inenge yamecha here kana inenge ita mismatch. So atite example ya address here. Tiri kuti mati ndakabva kuHarare ndakuBulawayo. Saka alright, pa address kana pa setup. Are you saying
chamecha is your customer ID? Yamecha kuti Clayton arimo kudhara handiti? Then tauchiona kuti okay, pama dimensions ake pane dimension rakachinja here. Then tataona ayo pane dimension rakachinja rinonzi chi?
Seat kana address.
Seat handiti ka. Takunori expire that dimension.
All right.
So, but I create a new one. Understand? And expire the old one.
All right.
Only two manamba erepana pamarecords edu.
Saka chamecha customer ID yabveratidza kuti Clayton arimo kudhara mudatabase, but pama-address akasiyana. Handizvo ndava kutaura.
Chanetsa ichi
ndati matimi chamecha customer ID inoratidza kuti munhu arimo kudhara mudatabase.
Yes. Chamecha customer ID.
But pama-address haana kumecha.
Pama-address haana kumecha.
All right.
Chamecha customer ID start not chi address yake chi is not the same. So nopana that first name, surname, national ID. Meno zvaitika pana. So that first name and it. First name, surname. Apa surname urona asiyana. Hatina kuchinja futi the other side. Tite sere mukoma Clayton.
Ikono zvindakubata. Pama muchitaura zvekuti matching up. Ndozvakuita ndifunge uye muri kuti tochinja kuzasi uko kana ma-address akafanana. Yet you were talking about the customer ID, for instance. All right.
National ID, DOB, MSIDN, address, city, and then tapachi citizen, and it marital status, tajitreka jisandit. Okay. Then takushua panapa manji. So panapa, the output now. Zvese zvatiri kuita ndiriga. Tiri kuzvi outer insert into the temp table. Saka tichiri kuzvisa mutemp table, tozozvibvisa mutemp table tozvisa chi physical chi table. So temporal table ndo ringoholda chi our logic chete. You get the sense? Iringoholda our logic. So pana tina first name, surname, MSD, NAT ID, DOB, then she
citizen marital status.
Pane some mix up yaitika.
Oh, you mean the order?
Order yacho. Mina ndibvise this one anditi. Kubvisa this guy. Ndobva ndamuisa panapa. Right, saka datichi first name, surname, national ID, DOB,
MSISDN,
and it. Then
address, city, citizen, marital status.
Address, right? Address sheet,
city, citizen.
City, citizen, now marital status and it. Citizen, and marital status, right? So, panapa. Takuchiti manje, takuchida kuchita say ku update manje chi our actual dimension table, not the last part. And it so take update from where? Chetangotora what has been updated into the temp table, into the final dim table. You get the sense? So takungotora is zvese tonozvikutora chi. Takungotora what has been stored in the temp table. So you can choose to work with my non-temp table, but I just chose to use a temp table so that I don't create a physical table for temporary use. Then when I open up, so my logic is complete, right? So I will then need to validate my query is correct, right?
Yeah.
I just edited it, and it's now correct this script, right?
Party output yonde.
Ndichashare name this script. Which part?
Yekupedzisira pakanzi output action. There.
All right. I put a comment there. Output updates to be used in the outer insert to the temp table, right?
Okay, so in our case, because we are just putting everything and it, but apa ndo patinochoose zvatichaisa nezvatichasiya ndizvo.
Output maresults edandikabuda handiti ndo atichanoisa kutemp table. Uchaona kuti nebasa.
Oh, all right.
Now I'm creating my query handiti. Now ndakucreate stored procedure rangu. Saka kunoku ndatoisa zita procedure rangu which is dim customers randabva ndacreator. So I'm running it so that stored procedure rangu riitwe actioned yandipa error. What is the error? Panap urikona because ndakaona kuti kuchinja comparison yangu ndati ndiri kushandisa
account ID.
Apa ndiri kushandisa account ID but inini what I'm using is cast ID. You get it? Right, so I'm going to replace that account ID with cast ID. You get it? I've got 132. Is this true?
No, I think what they ichi yamarura kuita merge on. I think kune mangu ma account ID akawanda kuzasa.
Okay. Ndauya panapa yabva yanditi invalid cast ID, right? Why is it saying invalid cast ID when this is a real ID? Okay. Why? Why is it this one is invalid? I'm selecting it from there. Dream customer, dream. Okay. I think maybe something is wrong about this name here. So let me check kuti view rangu rakanzi kudi. That's the thing that I'm suspecting. Then I will come on my view because ndo pangu pari kuhighlight foot. I say view rangu. So I'm going to get the same one. What is different there? What is different?
No. Okay.
Looks like the same thing.
Got 3 my instance I change.
Yeah, I'm going to replace the same thing to the same thing. But it returns it's an invalid object in my database. Okay.
Engineer got to 2 minutes smoke break. Okay.
Okay. All right, you can go for 2 minutes. So you'll be back in 5 minutes, right?
It's okay.
Those that want to remain can remain. We are almost done. So
so it's fine. We can finish then if we're almost done.
We can have it. It's okay. Just want to see what's wrong here. What's wrong? Doctor, I just want to figure out what's wrong with our.
Don't know where I'm exam here.
I have no way. Hey. Hello.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Okay. Let me try to comment it out and see what happens. So we're gonna ASI. Argon0, they are invalid. So there should be something wrong here. Invalid this. I'm surprised. Okay. Let me try to put another table there. And say maybe ndogonakuda kutora from stage. Mbozikanwa here that nini. Stage underscore. So there must be, I think there's a bracket ndogonanga delete or something. Inenge yarasika manje, inenge yakurasika chi logic of what you are doing. You understand? So if I call it here, you must be able to trace now this bracket. That's basically what I'm suspecting here. Is there anyone under this query so that we debug it together? Okay. But when I'm checking this, everything is fine. That's what is surprising me. But it's saying this ID is wrong.
But line 9. Is that line 9?
Yeah, Papa. So it's saying it's not correct there. The funny part about Sikuka, you know, when I'm going to bracket,
Yeah.
A very simple thing to see people.
We are selecting from G. Basasap. You banana cast idea. Where are we selecting from?
Okay. What hour?
Yeah.
You are selecting
from dim customer using. Right now we are now using conform table.
To select a join in the select statement. Then to logic when merged do this, when not merged do this in the logic. Okay, let me go back to the original script. I want us to pick the difference of what we have done there. Quickly. Right? Triple point, triple number. Triple selection at one set.
Select.
Okay. Triple select. So this panel, low party panel, and it's saying it's not recognizing here. So panel must find a bracket that's closing down there. Yeah, now kuvhara up. So inogona kunge tori problem iri kuzasi. Okay. So let's come here. Because once one of that logic is lost, then it will not recognize it. So tripana bandit. Okay. Triapa. This bracket, let's see. All right, let's take this code, notepad, and see where there are issues. Right, we're going to create this script. Do you want me to share this script with you?
Yeah, it's okay. You can share.
Okay, let me share it here. Linda Papi Manch, okay? Yeah. Okay. You can copy it there. So ndaisa query yangu muno. Right? I would like to trace what's wrong. Okay? Can everyone assist me here? What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? Everything looks fine. So this is a typical of reality of what happens. And you can spend days trying to see what went wrong here. Cast ID. Invalid column name cast ID. Okay. Nobody will Ka esa yarunzi invalid column name zuri. That means there's something wrong with our tables somewhere. Urgon, entry kubva inobata chi apa. Ndo pari kubva pangopoindwa kuti something is wrong there. Okay? Ndazopererwa manje panapo. All right.
Nyambi pererwa.
Okay. Image this from
sei kana takakutarisai kudai hamungoiwani chimbotipai kabreak tozodzoka.
All right, it's fine. I'll give you 10 minutes break to.
All right, thank you.
I was also trying to look at it, but it looks like the query that you have shared on the chat is truncated. Has anyone received a full query?
Oh, it's truncated.
Has anyone received a full query? Hope you can hear me. Yeah. From my end, it's truncated. It's not complete.
All right. What about the one that I sent now? It's truncated again. All right. So let me send it as a file, maybe. As a SQL file. VI class. Okay. New. Wait. Thank you. No. Ireyo ndinombozangana nayo isitereki. Okay. guys, hatingatadzi area tikangopedza area iyoyi zvatopera. Okay, let's see, let me comment out and see. Come on. Let's see. So this whole thing here is a problem. What's wrong here? So if I comment out all this and say comment out, okay, comment out this part and say, is this correct? Let me try to insert. Oh. All right. When I commented that part, it ran, but I don't know now what is it that it is going to do. So it's going to insert into that from okay, from that. Something is not right there. Okay, well, let's see how it works. So I'm going to say deal, execute. Okay, so panapa itotaura select insert into fewer items than the insert list. Insert list match what because document out up. Engineer. Right. So what are we inserting? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Correct one. Okay. Okay. Engineer, are you seeing anything wrong on this query? Invalid. View values. This one looks like a problem. Okay.
From the tables that we are merging and that we are using in our select statement, is everything in order per cast idea? I mean, from the conform gym customers there. Maybe necessary serial or something.
No, ndorozama kuona pana. Urgon, iyo pana urgon itonzi invalid but it's running. Are you seeing?
Yes, I can see.
Why? No, but bazito bireba. So why can't we somebody drop by? That's why invalid sure. So that change logic here. Then we are going to Let me introduce this guy and just use this guy instead of the conform table. I want to see what's wrong. Where is my query now? Here. Yeah, yaro ne champ pizza choose. Right. So here I'm going to put this. Put it here. It disappeared. What's wrong?